Jose Rizal, Ma'am Deodora Morales Alonso, Realonda Y. Quintos, and Dad Francisco Rizal Mercado Y. Alejandra, married on June 28, 1848. June 28, 1848 to December 30, 1912, the life and influence of Rizal. On June 19, 1861, Jose Rizal is born to become the seventh child born to his parents. 3 days later, Rizal was christened with the name Jose Rotasio Rizal Mercado Y. Alonso Realonda. On June 22, 1870, Jose began school under the instruction of Justiniano Aquin Cruz at just 9 years of age. August 24, 1871, studied at Calamba Public School under Master Lucas Padua at age 10.
June 10, 1872, Rizal took exam in San Juan de Letran College at the age of 12. On June 26, 1872, he started studying at Ateneo Municipal de Manila. June 16, 1875, Rizal became a boarder at Ateneo. March 23, 1876, Rizal received Bachelor of Arts degree with highest honor from Ateneo de Manila. July 20, 1877, he entered Santo Tomas University in the philosophy course. November 19, 1877, he awarded Diploma of Honorable Mention and Merit by the Royal Economic Society of Friends of the Country, Amigos del País, for his prized poem.
In November, Rizal writes a poem and receives recognition for his writing from the Royal Economic Society of Friends of the Country, also known as Amigos del País. The recognition comes in the form of a Diploma of Merit and Honorable Mention. In June, Rizal decides to switch gears in his educational pursuits and transfers into the medical courses at St. Thomas University. During this time, he also writes an additional 2 poems that win him further recognition. At the age of 19, Rizal writes another poem for a competition where he should have won first prize. However, he was not given this prize due to discrimination. In December, Rizal produces his first operetta called On the Banks of the Pasig. On the year 1881, Rizal creates the commemorative medal in wax for the Royal Economic Society of Friends Centennial Celebration. In May 1882, Rizal gets money from his brother and travels secretly from Manila to Spain, aboard a French ship and trade load entering Spain at the Fort Bow. In June 1882, St. Thomas University realized Rizal is nowhere to be found and threatens to take land away from his father, who is a tenant, even though his father has no idea of his whereabouts. June 15, Rizal makes his arrival in Barcelona and begins to study again in Madrid in October of that same year. On the year 1886, Rizal receives a degree in medicine from the Central University of Madrid at the age of 24. He then becomes an assistant to Dr. L.D. Wecker and visits many universities in Berlin, Leipzig, and Heidelberg in the country of Germany. And for the year 1887, Rizal finished his first novel titled No Limitangere while staying in Berlin. The novel offends Catholic officials and Rizal is deemed to be a troublemaker. He then travels to Austria, Switzerland, and Italy. On July 3, 1887, Rizal leaves from Marsales in Italy and arrives in Manila on August 5th. He travels to nearby areas escorted by a Spanish lieutenant.
July 3, 1887, sailed from Marseilles. August 5, 1887, arrived in Manila, traveled in nearby provinces with the Spanish lieutenant detailed by the Governor-General. February 9, 1888, sailed for Japan via Hong Kong. February 28, 1888 to April 13, 1888, a guest at the Spanish legation, Tokyo, and traveling in Japan. On April 25, 1888, Jose Rizal traveled to United States.
In May 24, 1888, in London, studying in the British Museum to edit Morga's 1609 Philippine history. In March 28, 1889, arrived in Manila, traveled in nearby provinces with a Spanish lieutenant detailed by the Governor-General as escort. In April 22, 1890, in Belgium, finished El Filibusterismo, which is the sequel to Noli Me Tangere. In August 4, 1890, returned to Madrid to confer with his countrymen on the Philippine situation, then constantly growing worse. In April 22, 1890, in Belgium, finished El Filibusterismo, which is the sequel to Noli Me Tangere. In August 4, 1890, returned to Madrid to confer with his countrymen on the Philippine situation, then constantly growing worse.
November 19, 1891, arranging for a Filipino agricultural colony in British North Borneo. Practiced medicine in Hong Kong. January 27, 1891, left Madrid for France.
June 3, 1892, organized a mutual aid economic society, La Liga Filipina. June 26, 1892, returned to Manila under Governor-General Despujols' Safe Conduct Pass. July 6, 1892, ordered deported to Dapitan, but the decree and charges were kept secret from him. August 1, 1896, left Dapitan en route to Spain as a volunteer surgeon for the Cuban Yellow Fever hospitals. Carried letters of recommendation from Governor-General Blanco.
On August 7, 1896, he is on Spanish cruiser Castilla in Manila Bay. Then, noong October 6, 1896, placed in Montjuic Castle dungeon on his arrival in Barcelona, and the same day re-embarked for Manila. Then, December 3, 1896, charged with treason, sedition, and forming illegal societies. The prosecution arguing that he was responsible for the deaths of those who read his writings. Then, December 12, 1896, Rizal appears in a courtroom where the judges made no effort to check those who cry out for his death.
December 27, 1896, formally condemned to death by a Spanish court martial. December 27 in Philippine history on December 27, 1897. General Emilio Aguinaldo, along with 25 other revolutionary leaders, landed for Hong Kong from Seoul. Aboard the ship Uranus in the fulfillment of the Treaty of Biak na Bato. Basila was made a province by Presidential Decree No. 356 on December 27, 1973. Taghima was the former name of the island of Basilan, before it became the town of Basilan, which became part of Zamboanga del Sur. December 27, 1896, Rizal wrote Noli Me Tangere. December 29, 1896, complete and puts into writing My Last Farewell. He conceals the poem in an alcohol-heating apparatus and gives it to his family. He may have also concealed another copy of the same poem in one of his shoes, but if so, it lost in decomposition in December 29, 1896, the last 24 hours of Rizal's life, Captain Rafael Dominguez, who was assigned to oversee the preparation for Rizal's execution, read out the verdict on his death. He was taken to the inmates' chapel. He was visited by Jesuit priests from the Ateneo, Father Miguel Sotera Mata, and Father Luis Bisa, a teacher. Father Sadera leaves the Sacred Heart of Jesus scribed by Rizal when he was a student was discussed. Father Bisa took it and gave it to Rizal and he accepted it. Father Bisa also left and Father Antonio Rizal arrived, who invited Rizal to have breakfast. After breakfast, Rizal's defender then arrived. Luis Tabiel the Adrid, and he was thanked for the service he gave him. Father Federico Fora arrives, reminding Rizal of what he told him before that we would be beheaded because of Noli Me Tangere. Rizal called the father because of his warning before, but he simply did not listen.
December 30, 1896, Roman Catholic source allege that Rizal marries Josephine Bracken in his Fort Santiago that sold to Josephine Bracken. She is Irish, the adopted daughter of American who came to Dapitan from Hong Kong for treatment. December 30, 1896, shot on La Laneta, Manila on 7:03 a.m. and buried in a secret grave in Paco Cemetery. Si Marie Josephine Lefalden Bracken, o mas kilala bilang Josephine Bracken, ay pinanganak noong October 3, 1876 sa Victoria, British Hong Kong. Namamatay ang kanyang ina na si Elizabeth J. McBride. Sa panganganak ay pinampon si Josephine Bracken ng kanyang ama kay George Tupper, isang American. Rizal had fallen in love with Josephine, who called her La Golondrina or the Swallow, and his Dulce Extranjera, his sweet stranger. Nang magpaalam si Rizal na magpakasal kay Josephine ay hindi ito pinayagan ng simbahan dahil sa kanyang previous excommunication. Ngunit kahit hindi sila pinayagan magpakasal ay tinuloy pa rin nila ang kanilang pagsasama sa dapitan at nagroon din ng lalaking anak na si Francisco na hindi rin nagtagal ang buhay. In the early morning hours of December 30, 1896, the day of Rizal's execution by firing squad, the couple remarried in Port Santiago following his reconciliation with Catholic Church. As both a wedding and parting gift, Rizal gave his wife and soon-to-be widow a copy of Spanish edition of The Imitation of Christ by Thomas A. Kempis. On the title page of the book, Rizal wrote in English, "To my dear and unhappy wife, Josephine." Si Marie Josephine, 3 araw matapos mamatay ni Rizal ay umalis na rin si Josephine Bracken sa Manila dahil hindi siya gusto ng pamilya ni Rizal. Then Josephine went to Cavite and joined the revolution wherein she cared for the wounded and the sick. At namatay naman siya noong March 15, 1900 sa edad na 25 years old dahil sa tuberculosis. August 22, 1898, Filipino who placed over it in Paco Cemetery. A cross inscribed Sydney, December 30, 1896.
December 20, 1898, President Aguinaldo of the Philippine Revolutionary Government proclaimed December 30th as a day of national mourning. President Emilio Aguinaldo issued a decree entitled Decree Declaring December 30th of every year a day of national mourning in honor of Dr. Jose Rizal and other victims of the Philippine Revolution.
June 19, 1911, birth semi-centennial observed in all public schools by an act of the Philippine Legislature. December 30, 1898, Filipinos held memorial services, of which time American soldiers on duty carried their arms reversed. Rizal Day is celebrated on December 30 in commemoration of the life and works of Philippine national hero Dr. Jose Rizal. The event was first observed on December 30, 1898 under a decree issued by President Emilio Aguinaldo 2 years after Rizal was executed by firing squad at Bagumbayan in Manila. December 30, 1912, Rizal's ashes transferred to the Rizal Mausoleum on the Luneta with impressive public ceremonies. December 30th is declared a national holiday in honor of his memory. Jose Rizal's life and works were critical to those from the Philippines who were looking for an end to Spanish colonization.
Julia. Rizal met Julia in a river in Los Baños when she was only 15 years old. They used to catch butterflies by the river and there they shared a little fun and excitement. This feeling was only temporary. Only one sweet prejudice of a young man to a young woman took place in their union. According to the record, Pepe's heart has not completely fallen on Julia during these times. In English, it can be just infatuation.
Segunda Katigbak. Segunda Katigbak was from Lipa, Batangas, who was 14 years old when Rizal met her. Rizal was unable to confess his love for Segunda. He seemed to have lost his courage and fortitude during those times, until Segunda Katigbak disappeared completely. Segunda is said to marry Manuel Luz even though Segunda doesn't want it.
Isang misteryosang dilag naman itong si Binibining L. Hindi malaman ng mga historiador kung ano ang ibig sabihin ng L sa pangalan ng dilag na ito. Pagkatapos ng pagkasawi kay Segunda, ibinaling ni Rizal ang kanyang atensyon sa dalagang ito. Dalawang magkasunod na gabi, bumisita itong si Rizal kay Binibining L dahil na rin sa nadama niyang sakit sa piling ni Segunda. Ngunit maagang natapos ang pagbisitang ito ni Rizal sa pagtutol na rin ng kanyang ama.
Ang mga babae sa buhay ni Rizal. Leonor Valenzuela. Nakilala naman ni Rizal itong si Leonor o Urang Valenzuela noong siya'y nag-aaral pa sa Universidad ng Santo Tomas. Katabi ng tinutuluyan ni Rizal ang bahay ng mga Valenzuela at palagi silang namamalagi ng kanyang mga kaibigan doon. Unti-unting nahulog ang loob ni Urang kay Rizal dahil sa angking talino ni Jose. Binibigyan ni Rizal si Urang noon ng mga liham na nakasulat sa tintang maaaninag lamang kung itatapat sa lampara. Ngunit para kay Rizal, higit na mainam kung ituring niya lamang na kaibigan si Urang kaysa ituring niya itong kasintahan. Ang desisyong ito ay bunsod na rin ng espesyal na pagtangi ni Rizal sa isa pang Leonor, si Leonor Rivera.
Leonor Rivera. When they were children, Rizal did not pay much attention to Leonor. But when the beauty became a young woman, he noticed that Leonor was blossoming. When the two got along well, they decided to call Leonor Rivera Taimis to escape the eyes that might condemn the two of them. Many more things happened that led to the painful separation of the two. which prompted Leonor to marry an Englishman chosen by her parents.
Consuelo Ortiga y Perez. Rizal met Consuelo, the son of Don Pablo Ortiga y Rey, the mayor of Manila, when he was Spain. Eduardo de Lete, Antonio, and Maximo Paterno also fell for her and agreed to marry her. Rizal and Lete come to an agreement to find out who Consuelo would choose between the two of them. At the end of the agreement, Lete captured Consuelo's heart and presented her with a poem La Señorita Coer, one of the beautiful poems written by Rizal.
Usoy Seiko. When Jose Rizal visited Japan in 1888, he met Usoy Seiko, who was 23 years old and from the family of samurai. He almost married Josei's son because of the good job assigned to him there. But his patriotic feelings prevailed and it was not carried out.
Gertrude Beckett. When Rizal arrived in London, he stayed at the home of Charles Beckett. Gertrude, or Getty, was Charles' eldest child. Every morning, as is the custom of the English, Getty served him breakfast. She fell in love with him, but he preferred his hometown and Leonor.
Nellie boasted, like her previous beauties from Europe. Rizal's relationship with Nellie Boasted, a Frenchman, did not last long. He did not agree to Nellie's request to become a Protestant. The two separated, but their friendship still remained. As the Asian man portrays as such, Rizal was happy with their association relationship. Their love almost ended in a serious relationship, but like other women, their relationship ended in divorce for the same reason. He did not marry the girl because he had to do his mission for the Philippines and was dearly loved by his countrymen. Nellie boasted even that Madrid is so beautiful and can be considered by Rizal as the best city in the world. He had many sad experiences everywhere to alleviate their grief. Rizal decided to vacation in the Baritza French Riviera, a place for lovers. He was a guest of the kind and wealthy Boasted family and became friends with Mr. Edward Boasted, his wife, and their two beautiful young daughters, Adelina and Nellie, and he was greatly admired for their visible talents. In the romantic gardens and delightful beautiful of Briasna, Sandiang ideal for lovers. Rizal is accompanied by Nellie with respect and appreciation. To Rizal, Nellie seemed to be a Filipino with high level of intelligence, a low-willed and deliberately righteousness woman. This time, Rizal offered marriage to Nellie, but their offer was not disclosed and the marriage ended for none of the two reasons. He did not recognize being a Catholic and he did not profess to be a Protestant. Nellie is Protestant, and the second did not vote for Rizal is Nellie's mother-in-law.
Sa St. Jacob, Rizal went to Brussels to Belgium in 1889 because of the luxurious life in Paris. He stayed at the home of two sisters, Marie and Suzanne Jacob, and just like before, Suzanne fell in love with him. But in July 1890, Rizal left for Madrid and left Suzanne grieving. Suzanne Jacob once married si Paolo Alexander Henry na nakilala ni Rizal na also ay 21 years old pa lang. Rizal left the expensive city of Paris and went to Belgium in January 1890. And on February 2, Rizal stayed in the boarding house managed by Jacob's sister, Suzanne and Marie. As anim na buwan na pananatili ni Rizal sa boarding house, Suzanne attacked her to the spiritual and enigmatic faith in the doctor, which was Suzanne. But the relationship was most likely not as serious as as Rizal didn't mention her his letter and his intimate friends. Suzanne shed tears when Rizal left Belgium towards the beginning of August 1890 and returned to the Brussels by the middle of April 1891 and stayed again in the Jacobus boarding house. Ngunit hindi siya para kay Suzanne dahil siya bumalik, kundi dahil para tapusin ang Alville. And noong July 5, 1891, Rizal waved goodbye to Brussels and Suzanne, never to come back again in Belgium and in her arms.
Josephine Bracken. Rizal went to Brussels to Belgium in 1889 because of the luxuries in Paris. He stayed at the home of two sisters, Maria and Susan Jacobi. And just like before, Susan fell in love with him. But in July 1890, Rizal left for Madrid and left Susan grieving. Josephine and Rizal met when the first recognized father was brought to Rizal for treatment in February 1895. This is where their deep relationship began. Although the acknowledged father objected, fate was unable to stop the romance between Josephine and Rizal. Many doubt Josephine's loyalty to Rizal. There are those who say that he was an accomplice of the friars who were